Hello, hello, and welcome to today's training. My name is Pilar Newman. I'm super excited to have you here, and we're going to do a lot of great stuff today. We're going to get a lot of good information out, and so I'm excited to share some of these strategies with you. But just to get started, I want to give you a little background of who I am in case you haven't heard of me. I'm a 9-year veteran Amazon seller. I've been relevant on Amazon for 9 years, which honestly, I kind of even surprises me. I wasn't expecting to be selling on Amazon for this long, but it has generated millions of dollars worth of product sales for me. It's given me a very nice living. And, I just keep doing it because it's obviously been working really well for me. I started off doing retail arbitrage, which is pretty much going through clearance sections at big box stores. That was the strategy back then. That's definitely not the strategy now. I then went on to online arbitrage, which is pretty much the same thing. You're just looking for, cheaper clearance items online and then reselling them on Amazon. But those strategies have changed quite a bit because of the new regulations, the new rules that Amazon has in place. And over the last now about 4 years, I've been doing private label selling on Amazon. And so that's what I do. I import products from China. I do this full time. I've been to China many times. I've met with vendors. Anyways, that's a quick background about me. You'll see a lot of blog posts and a lot of guest blog posts and podcasts that I've been on. You can go ahead and Google it. You'll see a lot of the stuff on me that comes up. So here's the thing. The reason I'm doing this particular training, the 3 simple techniques to turn trending topics into profitable Amazon products, is because I have a particular blog post that's called 500K in 3 months from a trending item. It's been my most circulated blog post that I've ever written. And I get so many questions about, hey, I want to get started on trending items. How do I do that? How do I do that? That I decided to do this extended training here. And so this is actually a training that is not available anywhere else. And for good reason. These are a lot of Amazon Pro seller techniques, seller strategies that, after years of accumulating so much information, you kind of get to figure out the holes where there's some serious opportunity. And I'm here to give you some of the strategies here to open up the doors to how to get started on selling trending items. So what I want you to do is I want you to turn off your cell phone. I want you to minimize all distractions available to you right now and just focus on this training, because I promise you the strategies that I'm about to teach you can really, really change your game on Amazon and bring incredible profits to you and to your bottom line. Okay, so let's get started with some of the training today. Now, today's game plan, we're going to discuss discovering trending topics before the rest of the competition, right? Everyone wants to get in before everyone else. How to gauge if something is trending, the 3 ways to introduce products for trending topics. That's going to be really fun, actually. And then the biggest rookie mistake, and then final tips to get you going today, because obviously this training only works if you take the strategies that I tell you about today and go ahead and implement them. Now, if you're a newer Amazon seller, right, you may not know the crazy, ridiculous opportunity that's available on Amazon right now, and why so many online entrepreneurs are getting into Amazon right now. So Amazon, has the program that's the Prime program, right? You have a lot of loyal Prime members, and as a matter of fact, there are over 54 million Prime members buying on Amazon right now who are continuous repeat customers. So I want you to change your mindset today that if you're a beginner seller, if you only know about shopping on Amazon, I want you to take a look at the kind of opportunity that's available as a seller right now. So Amazon brings in a built-in audience of buyers for you to sell something to. So unlike starting a website from scratch that has never seen a buyer, Amazon allows you to plug in right into their infrastructure and start making sales immediately. And if you even need another reason Amazon this past summer had their first annual Women's Entrepreneur Conference, which I had the privilege of getting an invitation to. It was an invite only conference where they invited the top female sellers on Amazon to go. And then when I went there, they had tons of great trainings and whatnot. But one thing that they said that completely resonated, like it just struck me. It just struck me like a brick wall here, because even though this, when they actually say this, it just kind of shakes you a little bit and says like, wow, I really am at the right place at the right time. Amazon said that nearly 50% of all products sold on Amazon come from marketplace sellers like you and I. 50%. I mean, Amazon relies on us for a large part of their business. And that's why they have so many different tools to help us succeed on their site. So there's a great opportunity on Amazon for both you and I to capitalize on the huge buyer traffic by selling physical products on their site. Okay. So let me go over what the ideal product is to sell on Amazon. If back 9 years ago when I got started, it was retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. That was the way to go. Okay. This, over the last few years, there has been a massive shift into private labeling. And if you don't know what private labeling is, here's just a quick example. So let's say that I want to sell, a head of lettuce, right? People consume it often. There's great potential for repeat customers. And so I can go to a farm that produces lettuce and say, hey, I want to buy some lettuce from you. Can you go ahead and on the packaging, put my logo on it so I can sell it under my brand name? Yes, great. Okay, I have a private label item there. Now, if another person goes to that same farm and asks for the same thing, hey, can I put my logo on there and sell it under the same brand? Well, we're essentially selling the same product, yet it's under different brand names. And so when you sell under your own private label, brand name item, then there is potential to make a lot more profit than if you were to sell someone else's product. So if you were to buy from a wholesaler, they say, okay, we retail at $12 or whatever it might be. And for resellers, we give you guys 55% off. All right, well, you're kind of, you don't have too much say in that. Sometimes when you do volume, they'll say, okay, we'll give you a couple of extra percentages. But as a private label reseller, you could go buy an item for, $4 and you could give your product whatever price that you want to. Now, granted, you want to make sure that there's enough demand for the price that you're putting your item up for, but the potential to profit big is enormous. So that's why there's been this huge shift on private labeling your own items. Amazon has noticed that so many sellers are doing this, and so they're switching their platform a lot to tailored to us. So great profits equal more money in our product, in our pockets. We're not distributing someone else's product, and so there's no race to the bottom for selling someone else's product for the lowest price. Okay, so now how do we take that concept, right, and how do we squeeze even more profits out with a private label item? Well, we private label trending products. Now, this is something, just so you know, that I came across about, it's probably about 3.5 years ago now. I didn't know anything about, profiting big on trending topics or trending products. And we'll go over this in a second. But this came about literally from me just kind of doing my Amazon business. I'm importing stuff from China. I'm reselling stuff from over here. And after all these years, you see a little kind of like opportunities and then you test them out, right? So there's a lot of testing out on Amazon that I did over 9 years. And I found this little area where I can legit make $50,000 to $100,000 in a very short amount of time. And so I started, I came across the Rainbow Loom, which is a huge story that I have, that if you just Google Pilar Newman Rainbow Loom, you'll see that story about the 500K in 3 months. But I profited so big, and it happened slightly by accident, slightly kind of by, just paying attention to what's happening out there, that I then started keeping my eyes open for trending products. And since then, I've now had about 4 to 5 different trending products that I've hit big, and they've added so much additional revenue to my bottom line. And so I want to tell you a little bit about what an actual trending product is, okay? So a trending product is an area of interest that is emerging as popular and can be capitalized with physical product sales. So this should actually say, what is a trending topic in all reality, now that I'm looking at this again. So let's take a look at a quick basic example here. So most of us are well aware of emojis, right? I mean, you can't miss it. We have emojis on our phone. We see emoji in marketing. I mean, we hear people talking about emojis. Emojis are everywhere, right? It's become the new language. People are speaking in emojis, right? How many times do you send emojis to your friends throughout the day on your phone? How many times do you see emojis on marketing products, or in commercials, or on billboards? I mean, it legit is everywhere. It's the new way that we communicate with one another. So the opportunity in finding trending topics and turning them into physical product sales is if you discover them at the right time, which I'm going to help you do that. Trending products can really command top dollar due to high demand during a peak time, right? So, well, we'll go over a little bit more in that in the training. I don't want to. I'm pretty good at diverting onto some ridiculous like stuff, and I'm trying to almost like teach myself to stay on point with some of my slide points here. So, all right. So we're also, the other opportunity here is that, you found an established niche in the marketplace, which means you do less product research in order to sell a product. So here's the thing, when you are private labeling an item, right? A lot of finding a good private label product to resell is to do a lot of research. You're researching your target audience. What do they want? What niche do you want to get into? And that takes a little bit of time, but once you find what your audience wants, then it's all profits after that, once you private label a good product for them. With trending items, you don't need to go and do all that. There is already an established winning niche. You just need to plug into that. And we're going to talk about how to do that in this training today. And the third piece of opportunity here is that there's low barriers to entry. Beginner and experienced sellers can capitalize on this. And I'm going to show you the right way to capitalize on this, because there is a wrong way to do it. I'm going to show you the right way to capitalize on this. And this can really skyrocket or get jump-started your Amazon business. So let's get right into the training, all right? So how do we discover trending areas of interest? Let's go right into this. So the first way is you want to be able to subscribe to a niche magazine or a niche newsletter. So this is, in general, the part of the research that we do anyways for regular products. It's pretty much the more that you know of a particular subject, the better you'll be able to find products to sell within that niche, right? So ideally, you want to subscribe to things that interest you. Subscribe to newsletters, magazines, anything related to a particular niche, because then when something starts trending within that niche, you'll be on the forefront of it automatically because you are keeping up to date with what's happening. So in this basic example, if I was into soap making, all right, I'm going to go ahead and, find out what magazines are available for soap making. I'm going to go online, find newsletters that I could subscribe to, what's moving and shaking in the soap making industry. What scents do people like? Are people doing all sorts of different things within this niche? I'll go and find out everything about that particular niche. So staying on top of a particular area is going to help you get ahead of the curve when you see something trending. So that's just one way. Now, it doesn't have to be boring. Like, I don't want you to look at that soap making example and say, hey, that's boring. I'm not even into soap making. That's all right. I'm not into soap making either. That was just a general example. I want to tell you how much fun this is for me to find trending items, because I want it to be just as fun for you, because once you realize how easy it is to come up with trending items, all you're going to want to do is sit at cafes and do what I do, which is pretty much read tons of magazines, from entertainment magazines to business magazines, because the more I know, the better I'm able to see some opportunity. So I'm into, like I said, I'm into a lot of business magazines. I read tons of business magazines just because, I enjoy doing that in my free time. But I also like reading basic entertainment magazines and reading, what's happening in the entertainment world with celebrities online. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You always need downtime for yourself. So the majority of my workday really involves me going to the cafe and doing tons of reading for the first 2 or 3 hours of my day. And so that allows me to have better eyes and a better gauge into what's happening in whatever particular industry. So back in 2014, I was coming across some random article online, and I started reading about these temporary metallic tattoos. I mean, some of you might have heard about this because back in 2014, it literally was all over. It's still online right now, but back in 2014, people were just starting to talk about this, and I guess it had started off with some sort of a designer show, right? And I forget where, LA, New York, or whatever. And people started, within the show, people started wearing these metallic tattoos. And so it started getting some press. And then before you know it, Beyonce starting to wear metallic tattoos. Other artists and celebrities are starting to wear metallic tattoos. I mean, there was some serious exposure on these metallic tattoos. And so I remember looking at this and saying, people are just starting to talk about this. This is kind of interesting. I mean, I'm into fashion. I'm into what's trending in fashion. Let me take a deeper look into this. But anyways, I'll talk a little bit more about metallic tattoos and how I took advantage of that and made tons of money selling metallic tattoo products. But I want to show you that this is one way of how you can get on top of trending items. It really is becoming just kind of the knowledge base for any area of interest that you have, okay? And then also being curious enough to look up some of this stuff. Second way, join online social groups about a particular topic. So if we're talking about soap making again, right? Let's say I'm interested in soap making. Great. I'm subscribing to magazines. I'm subscribing to newsletters. I'm also going online. I'm looking for groups who are talking about soap making, right? Facebook has groups based around all sorts of topics. Find the topics that interest you and join those conversations. The group members, if you pay close enough attention to those conversations, will tell you what's hot or what they're looking to buy. I mean, can you imagine that? You're in a Facebook private group and people are talking about things that they're making within that niche or things that they're looking for, things that they, things that are happening in that niche. What better way to get real-time information of products that people are looking to buy than to join these groups within these certain niches, okay? Now, you can join groups and sign up to newsletters on different topics. Don't just stick to one topic. I subscribe to a bunch of different newsletters because I do sell within a bunch of different niches. And so I just keep up with information. And this has been the optimal way that I've found out, what's trending, right? I don't have a special place like go to this website and you will find out and you'll be the first one. No, you're not going to be the first one. Everyone's going to be looking at that same website. So you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with what's happening in real time. And these are a couple good examples of how to do that. And then lastly, stay curious about everything. You never know when you'll pick up a tidbit of information that will bring you some profitable information. Now, here's the thing about staying curious. If you hear something that sounds interesting, look it up. Okay, if you don't know, if someone's talking about, oh, my niece is getting into this and she's saying it's, all her students in the classroom are doing this, or if you hear your friend talking about crafting and this is a particular cord that they can't find or it's been out of stock every craft store they've gone to, hey, get curious enough and motivated enough to look it up. Okay, the more you find out about it, the more that information can potentially lead you to your next big ticket trending item. So go ahead and stay curious about everything, right? So let's gauge now, how do we know something's trending, okay? So I'm gonna give you a couple of best practices of how to do this. And so Google Trends is one of the easiest, simplest way to look up to see if something is trending, okay? We're going to see if something is trending in terms of interest over time. So here's an example. I mean, we just talked a little bit about emojis. Emojis have been the new language. They've been coming up. So here's a graph from Google Trends that shows you the direction of the interest over time over the search term emoji. You will see in that search term box I've put emoji. So here you'll see that there's an upward trend, and then that pretty much shows you that there's an increasing demand around this topic or area of interest. That's a good thing. That means people are actively online and searching or talking or looking about for stuff related to this topic. Okay, there's an upward trend, and you'll see that there's certain spikes in time for whatever reason. But the fact of the matter that it's still going up means that there is some sort of demand going on there. Here is the metallic tattoos trend. So you will see basically right now. Don't go into this item, because sometimes when I do these trainings, people will go ahead and do the items that I mentioned as examples. And please don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm giving you these examples as examples, but I know there's going to be a good amount of people who go and do this. The metallic tattoos, you'll see it started spiking around 2014, which is actually when I found out about it because of reading these glam magazines and entertainment magazines. And once you see it start moving upwards, right? So if you look at the graph, I got in right at 2014. At the beginning, at the tail end, and I noticed that it started to trend, right? Because people were just starting to talk about this. Now, excuse me, you'll notice in this graph that trends are sometimes or for the most part, non-existent during a certain period of time. So you'll see that the graph is pretty much flat. Someone came up with a metallic tattoo. There wasn't any interest, or there wasn't metallic tattoos really at the beginning, or whatever it might be. And then you'll see a point where it comes roaring onto this this trending graph, because this is when the trend started. Now, there is normally a beginning point and an end point to a trend. They are trending for only a certain period of time, which is why it's particularly important to, when you start noticing something that's trending upwards, to get in on it right away, because there is a time frame that you have, a short time frame, to take advantage of this trend. Okay, so you don't want to enter a trending topic when it's already on the way down. At that point, the market is pretty much saturated. You want to make sure that you're entering right as it's starting to go up, or even right a little bit in the middle, honestly, and take advantage of what people are talking about. Now, the presidential Trump campaign. Now, I'm not talking politics here. I'm actually just using this example because, the presidential campaign, FYI, is a trending topic every 4 years. So just go ahead and put that in your schedule right now, that every 4 years you might want to consider coming out with a product that is related to the presidential campaign. So I just by chance put in here presidential Trump campaign. And again, I'm not talking politics here. It's neither or for me here. But you will see that there was an incredible spike. And I put Trump in there only because there was so much talk around everything that he was doing. And if you actually Google some of the stuff right now, or on Amazon, you'll see that there's a lot of Trump type of products that kind of came out or related around the presidential stuff that came out. And so that is actually a trend. So every 4 years, I'm giving you this one as a freebie now. Go ahead, and you know that you can make some money selling physical products related to the presidential campaign every 4 years. So here's the last graph that I'm going to show you, just to kind of continue talking about how Google Trends works and how you can see some of the stuff. The adult coloring books. A lot of you might have heard about, adult coloring books. They became big just about a couple of years ago. And you'll see again this pattern. There was no one looking for adult coloring books. No one even knew basically to look for adult coloring books until someone came up with the concept. And there's this crazy bump you'll see. And if you catch it on the upward, then you can go ahead and create physical products for it. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that. But there's normally a peak time where there's massive amount of interest, where you can make a massive amount of profits on top of that. So Let's see. The second way to analyze whether a product is trending or not, to gauge whether a product is trending or not, is to look at trending reports, right? There are reports out there that will forecast with data that they have, the potential trends that are coming up. And so, you can simply Google trend reports in whatever industry that you're interested in. You can put trend reports for grocery items, trend reports for industrial items or whatever it might be. Look at, download and look at all the reports. And that kind of keeps you in the loop as to what's happening in those particular industries. So I'm a big fan of Pinterest because Pinterest offers tons of information. They do this annual now trending report topic of what they've seen repinned a lot on their site, what's been trending a lot based off of what people's activities are on their website. It's an annual report. It just came out. The latest one for the trending forecast report of 2017 just came out in December of 2016. And you can Google this report. Either way, though, I am going to send you the PDF that Pinterest put out. It shows you what's trending for and what's forecasted to trend in 2017 for various categories. I'm talking like this is a wealth of information within this trending report. I'm going to send you that. So, you can Google it if you want to get ahead of me, but don't worry, I'll be sending you that with this training as well. Third, last way to gauge if something's trending. Hey, is everyone starting to talk about this? Are you suddenly hearing about something that you've never heard before, right? It sounds simple enough, but you know what? So many of you are so busy that most people don't actually stop to pay attention enough to what is right in front of you. So part of this training working for you will be to stop and smell the roses, right? I almost didn't even want to say that, but I was like, I need to say that. You need to stop and smell the roses, meaning take time to listen to what others are saying and what's happening around you. All right, so you are gathering information in real time, and that is super valuable. Now, without going into serious, crazy detail, I do want to give you a quick example of how that worked for me. Back in 2013, the first trend I took advantage of was the rainbow loom trend. It's a crafting item for little kids that you basically use small rubber bands to make bracelets and necklaces and all this kind of stuff. And the story goes that I originally found out or became aware of this particular trend by just kind of looking at the Amazon top 100 list. So on Amazon, Amazon will tell you the top 100 selling items within each category. Back then, that's how I found out about the rainbow loom. So I became aware of it. So it was there in my mind, but that didn't necessarily mean that it triggered anything. Now, when it did finally trigger something, it was because I was at my friend's house. Her niece was there with her buddies, and she had a rainbow loom bracelet on. And it was like, I think it was something like the breast cancer colors or whatnot. And I go and I said, hey, I just saw that on Amazon. What is that? And she says, oh, these are rainbow loom stuff, and me and my friends, we all do it, and we're actually doing this as a fundraiser. And I'm like, wow, that rainbow stuff looks cool. Rainbow loom stuff looks cool. Do a lot of your friends have this? Yeah, a lot of us do it. We share our colors and we do this and that. And it was what a wealth of information from listening to my friend's niece. And because I had it top of mind, because I gather all this information just by paying attention, it made me want to look further into rainbow looms. And that was a big one for me. I made a ridiculous amount of money. It was insane time. So companies are capitalizing on trends in various ways, okay? So, you'll see, I'm sure a lot of you have seen these Pepsi Cola cans here. They've creatively incorporated trends into their marketing. They are engaging people in their product services by finding ways to include themselves in the conversation of a hot topic. Very clever, right? You also have Domino's here that says, hey, order simply by tweeting an emoji. Crazy. This is the new language. Order now, peaks up, just put an emoji. So this is what you really want to get. into, right? This is what you really want to know now. So I didn't want to make this training a lot of fluff or anything like that. I want to give you some real stuff that you can do to take advantage of this kind of these kind of trending products. Now, I will say that if you have no prior private labeling experience, it's okay. It's okay. Private labeling is actually not that hard. A lot of people sometimes think it's hard. I think they just overcomplicate it for whatever reason, because at the end of the day, it really is just kind of putting your logo on something and you've private labeled an item. It's actually not too difficult. But don't worry if you don't have that experience. I do have another training that I do offer. It's the FBA Profit Factory course. It teaches you everything from A to Z, how to get started on Amazon, how to private label an item, and how to take advantage of everything that Amazon has to get you ahead of the curve when you're starting your Amazon business. So if you actually are new to Amazon and to private labeling, shoot me an email. I'll let you know about the FBA Profit Factory course. We do have a wait list going right now because I don't have the actual course open at the moment. All right, but let's dive into this right now. This is the portion of the course that you're going to learn how to capitalize on trending products. It's the 3 simple techniques to turning trending topics into profitable Amazon products. Here we go. Method 1. And these, by the way, all methods that I use, okay? I only train on stuff that I actually do. Otherwise, I don't talk about things I don't know about. Method 1, introduce a new design change. What does this mean? Let's take a look at some examples. I talked about the metallic tattoos. I took advantage of this trend back in 2014, right? So the picture I'm showing you here is the main company that was referenced in some of the articles that I was reading in regards to this trending area. They kept saying, oh, Beyonce is using metallic tattoos from the Flash Tattoos company from blah, 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 right? I became aware of this company. So what I did is I went to their website and I said, all right, let me take a look at these Flash tattoos. Now, I think I have another slide coming up at some point that talks about a rookie mistake, but I actually want to bring this up right away because I really want you to avoid making this rookie mistake. When you are working with trending items, there is a fine line where you have to be careful, okay? There's a lot of people that think, oh my gosh, look at this. I'm going to go ahead and copy it exactly the way it is. So you're basically saying, I'm going to go ahead and counterfeit this item, right? You don't want to do that. You're not stealing anyone's intellectual property. That's the wrong thing to do. Don't do that. And on top of that, you're going to get booted off of Amazon if you do that, okay? So don't do that. I'm not saying to go ahead and copy the Flash Tattoo and all their designs and resell their products on Amazon. That is absolutely not what I'm telling you to do. What I'm telling you to do right now is to actually go to their website, do a little bit of research, because this is what, this is part of a little bit of what we do when we're trying to come up with product ideas and work on trending items. What are they selling? What's going on? So great. I went ahead and I looked at this website and I said, awesome. They're selling beautiful tattoos. This is not my product, FYI. These are now screenshots that I took from other people's products later on, which, some of these companies, people have gotten on this trending product very late. So, but nonetheless, I took the screenshot from Amazon recently, but this is something that I did back in 2014, which is I went to a designer and I said, hey, listen, I need some new designs. I want to make some metallic tattoos, make some new designs. This is what I'm thinking about for the designs. And I give them ideas and I came up with my own designs and I became, the metallic tattoo company, or I forget actually what the name of my company was, because I actually come up with different names based off of the different items that I'm selling. Long story, different training. So, I came up with 5 sheets of new designs. I got my designer to do that. And then I went ahead and I went to my agent. I said, hey, listen, we got to find a metallic tattoo, a factory who can produce these for me. And I went ahead, we produced it. Now I've been working with one of my agents for a very long time. I work with various agents, which are pretty much middle people to the factories. And I have a lot of blog posts out there about this, but the reason I do that is because I don't want to waste a lot of time finding a new factory going back and forth with the new factory, you know, trying to figure out whether we can communicate well, whether the prices are okay, whether we can trust each other. There's too much time. I just enlist you know, a few agents to help me with that work. I've actually even gone to China and visited my agents now, and we have really good relationships. So I know and they know that I'm expecting quality products, and that kind of bypasses this whole let me look for a factory, let me get samples and make sure everything's okay. I bypass that by using agents, and I do pay a premium for that, but that's okay for me. Okay, everyone has a different strategy. So I went ahead and I did this kind of stuff, and I put 5 sheets up on Amazon of metallic tattoos, and I was one of the first people. Actually, I think I was the second one to come up with this on Amazon, and I barely had to even do any sort of Amazon sponsored ads on this because the topic was so hot that people were looking for this. I didn't need to pay for advertising on these search terms. People were looking for this, right? So that's a great opportunity right there too on working for trending items, is you don't, you know, you spend less money in marketing. And so if anyone was looking for flash tattoos, you know, my product would actually come up on Amazon. And I was getting all these orders filtered in. Now, here's the awesome piece on top of that. I talk about this tremendous amount of profit when you are working on trending products, okay? And I've been saying okay a lot, haven't I? So in this particular, with this particular trending item, I was paying about $210, $215 for the 5 sheets. And the flash tattoo, I'm trying to remember, I can't remember exactly to tell you the truth. I think it was $7.99 or $8.99 per sheet, per 1 sheet that they were selling their item. And so I'm getting 5 sheets of my own designs for $2.15, right? I'm reselling this on Amazon for a quote unquote bargain price of $18.95 on a low weight item. Okay, it doesn't take too much money to ship this item out. And that is that price that I'm quoting to you, I'm telling you about the $215. That included my product being shipped you know, because I work with my agents, I have them shipped directly to Amazon. They don't need to ship to me because I have so many years with them that they've not given me issues. I don't have to look at the product quality. They go ahead and do all that. I had it shipped directly to Amazon, and I'm selling it at $18.95 at the peak of the height of this trend. Okay, the profit was ridiculous at that point. I'm making well over $12 profit on an item that I spent $2.15 on. So you can just see the magnitude of money that you can make when you come up with a trending item. Let me give you another example here because I spent a lot of time on just that one. The inspired design to a specific target audience. So you can do design changes to something, and then you can also do something that is very specific to a target audience. So this is someone who took the metallic tattoo concept and say, hey, I'm going to do a bachelor tattoo theme concept of this. And that's cool. You know, that's another way to continue branching out and continue offering your product, your trending product, into other buyer segments. Okay, it's kind of clever, to tell you the truth, because in terms of doing this on Amazon, this strategy will allow you to key in on other important search terms within new buyer demographics. So that pretty much means that, you know, let's say, for example, here you had a bride who was looking for, you know, stuff for her bachelorette, someone who's planning a bachelorette party. You know, they may not be aware of metallic tattoos, but because this particular person said, hey, I'm going to put this in the category of you know, bachelorette party goods or whatever, and I'm going to gear these hot items to that, they plugged into another buyer segment. They can use all these Amazon keywords now related to bachelorette parties. It was genius, okay? Metallic tattoos, I was gearing my stuff towards like tattoos, people who interested in, and what was it? It was, what's the words that I was using? Tattoos, I was saying, oh gosh, I found a lot of good keywords back at that time. I actually should have printed them out before going deep diving into this training. But you know, there were keywords that I cannot use related to bachelorette party because there was nothing really there related to bachelorette party. But actually, now that I think about it, I could have related it to that. But anyways, you can do a design that is an inspired design that is geared towards a specific target audience. Okay. And so that's another way to do that. Now let's take a look at another example of this new design change, the adult coloring books, right? Here's another example. Adult coloring books were a big item within the last couple of years. Now, again, most of the screenshots that I took here for this training were recent, so just kind of don't worry too much about the price point that you're seeing now that's so ridiculously low that there's no money to be made there. But it's a screenshot that I just took recently. But this does present a good issue that I do want to tell you about, because as I've mentioned before, when you get started on a trending item, it is imperative that you get started when you see the upward trend, even when it's at the middle, like when it's still kind of like maybe coming down a little bit, all right, but not too much. Because what starts happening with trending items is that, they become so popular that at the beginning, there's all this demand that so many people run out of items that you can literally price your item so high and make all this money right away. But the longer that the trend continues, the more people that are going to start diving into it now, right? Because there's going to be more people that want to profit from it. And so what starts happening is that, price points start shooting down. So if you come into a trend too late and the price point is low, I mean, even though it's still a hot item, there's no sense in diving into this. So adult coloring books, they still sell. They are trending downwards, but you can see what happens there when the price point starts coming drastically down. So trends do bring a heightened awareness. Others will want to capitalize again on this. So timing is imperative. Differentiation is also equally important. And I'm going to give you a good example here of how someone used the adult coloring books to differentiate their own version of the adult coloring books. Have you guys seen this? I thought this was genius. Calm the F down. Adult coloring book. Absolutely genius. I really wish I would have thought of this, because when I noticed that the adult coloring books were trending, I actually had no idea of how to take advantage of it. Sometimes I can't come up with every single idea. I can't capitalize on every single opportunity. But I couldn't figure out what to do with the adult coloring book, because I did notice it at the beginning and I was like, oh, dang. Okay. Can't figure anything out. Move on. Let me not cry in a puddle and say I'm about to lose a lot of money because I just found out about this, but I don't know how to take advantage of it. This was genius. Had I come up with this idea, what I would have done is gone to a designer who's good at creative at doing some sort of a sketch for adults. I would have came up with a product like this. This would have been awesome. I can only imagine how much money this guy made when the item was at its peak and whatever price point he was selling it at that time. Because now, again, the screenshot was taken a lot later, so now the price is completely down. But man, it's insane. So these examples that I've shown you so far are the simplest ones to do. The design changes are the simplest ones to do in terms of taking advantage of trending items. Now, this is not saying I'm going to go ahead and do a design change on a product where I'm like actually going to add another piece to the product. These are simple design changes that don't require too much work of manufacturing a brand new product, okay? And so these are one of the fastest ones to do. Second way to take advantage of a trending topic is to create inspired products. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you an example of this in a second. But this second method that I'm showing you, I would say that it's more for experienced sellers out of the three methods that I'm covering today. And that's because, again, the speed that you need to be able to do this to get it to the market while the item is still hot and trending, and you're catching it at the beginning, you're not going to be able to do that if you're a beginner seller. You're not going to be able to do this particular method if you're a beginner seller and you've never reached out to a factory, you don't have experience in private labeling. Then this strategy is not for you, okay? But it's good to have in mind, because when you do become an experienced seller and you do start making some serious money on Amazon, hey, remember this training, because this is a good one to take advantage of here. All right, so again, this is a lot of the reasons that I do work with agents. I work with agents because I don't want to go looking for every single factory every time I come up with an idea. I want them to do that for me. I don't mind paying some sort of a premium price for them to do that for me, because I know that I can still make a lot of money. So that price to me doesn't affect my bottom line at the end of the day. So let's look at an example of what inspired product creation is. Now, we talked about the presidential campaign, right? And Trump was trending a lot, obviously, because a lot of the stuff that he was saying. So here's the thing. A great little company that sells on Amazon. I say little kind of jokingly because this is actually a pretty big company. They did, something pretty genius here too. They went ahead and they created this red button with all of kind of like these snarky Trump remarks. That's a great way to do an inspired product of a topic that is trending. Okay, so FYI, again, here's your tidbit of information. Every 4 years, if you want to bank out on something that's trending, you know that the presidential campaign is trending every 4 years. Keep that on your calendar. You'll make a lot of money in a very short amount of time. Okay, here's another inspired product. And by chance, it's by the same company. I actually used to follow this company a lot on Amazon, which is why I'm showing you some of these examples. And these are the ways that I actually kind of keep up to with what's happening, with what other people are selling. I look into people's stores and it gives me ideas too of what other things to get into. But emojis are actually still trending now. But now this, what day is it today? I'm actually recording this training on January 6th, 2016. Okay. So, remember, as I'm saying that this is trending still, emojis are still trending as we speak. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are getting into emoji products. I actually mentioned the emoji trend about a year and a half ago on a podcast. It was the Niche Pursuits podcast with Spencer House. Or House. I'm sorry, I might be pronouncing his last name wrong. But I mentioned this particular trend a year and a half ago on his podcast. And he gets a lot of people to listen to this podcast. And there was a lot of people that were selling now inspired emoji products on Amazon. The crazy part, and this is something that I haven't actually seen in my work of trending items, is that people are still coming out with emoji related products and they're still banking out, because I can see the Amazon sales ranks that they're still selling these items. It's kind of amazing, but emojis are really big and they're here to stay. And there's a lot of people that are taking advantage of this right now. So, emojis are everywhere. This is another great inspired creation. They created gumballs. If you're in the grocery department, you're already selling in that department, you may want to go ahead and find a grocery item that you can kind of make it an emoji inspired item. So one of the important pieces of information that I want to remind you of here is that product differentiation is important. So for example, I'm showing you these emoji gumballs. I don't want you to go out and make another set of emoji gumballs. Don't do that, because now you're going to be directly competing with this particular vendor. You don't want to do that. Product differentiation is super important. And that's not just for coming out with trending products. That is for all of your Amazon private label items, okay? If you come up with an item that looks similar to someone else's item, guess what? You are in direct competition with that person. Why would you want to do that to yourself? So don't go ahead and copy these examples. Come up with something creative to come up on your own, all right? Here's another emoji-inspired product, all right? This is someone that came up with the emoji earbuds. They may already know about electronics and sell private label electronic items, so they may already have those contacts. And this is a great way to take advantage of a trend. All right. So one of my favorite places to find inspiration for coming up with inspired products for trending items is to check out what people are talking about or doing on YouTube or Pinterest. Okay, so let's say, for example, you really can't come up with any products. It's not that you can't come up with any products, by the way, because I've worked with enough sellers to know that a lot of people just don't actually want to put in the time to do the research. And if you don't put in time to do research on what kind of product that you can come up with, you're not going to make this work. Like when sellers come to me and they say, I can't come up with a product to sell. No, it's not that you can't. It's that you didn't do the research. You're not putting enough time into your business. And I'm not going to give you a magical product to go out there and sell. If I find a product, I'm going to go ahead and sell it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and sell it. I'm not going to give it to you. But if you are stuck in trying to figure out, okay, well, what product can I come up with that's related to this product, that's related to this trending topic? Go to YouTube and go to Pinterest, put in those search terms, put emoji products, just emoji in general. See what people are talking about, and that's going to give you more creative ideas of what to come out with. Okay. Let's go into method number 3. Introducing complementary items. Now, this method was the way that introduced me into how to come up with products related around a trending item or a trending topic. Okay, this was the method that I used for the rainbow loom stuff that completely changed my world on Amazon. From something that was already doing super well to something that just went into ridiculous amounts of profit. So I'm going to tell you about this procedure, this method that I used. Okay, so there is a secondary underworld market of items that are related, a secondary market that is related to the main item. Now that actually sounds confusing now as I'm saying this out loud. And I actually wrote that, so whatever I was thinking at the time, I actually don't know what it was now. But there are so many different ways to take advantage of a product that's already hot. And I'm going to show you one here in a minute. Yeah, let me just go to that screen. There's so many ways to take advantage of a product that's hot without taking the exact item and private labeling it, because a lot of people do that, right? And that is somewhat of a viable way to do this, if to take advantage of a trending hot item. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that if you are coming up with a very similar item, such as this RTIC tumbler that was very hot back in December of 2016, this past Christmas, you want to make sure that there's no patents and stuff like that. So that I always get a little wary, a little nervous about taking a product that's selling really well on Amazon and doing really hot, and finding a producer that is making that and then putting my logo on it, because I get nervous about patents, right? You can Google patents to see if there's a particular patent, but I try to stay away from that just because it makes me nervous. I'm not trying to get my Amazon account shut down. And knock on wood over here, 9 years, I've never had my Amazon account shut down. So I'm trying to keep that trend going. Complementary items. The RTIC tumbler was an item that continues to be very hot, actually, as we speak. January 6, 2016. It's been a very hot item for Christmas, selling all over the place. Now, I actually found out about this hot item from my agent. My agent tipped me off. Again, I can't even tell you how many reasons that I love working with agents. I mean, dang, they are not, in particular, they're not married to certain factories or industries. They're just kind of trying to sell you. And they're being the middle person. Hey, I heard about this. I heard about that. Great. He told me about this. And so I started looking it up. Now, this is a way that, had I taken advantage of this, this is the way that you want to take advantage of it if you're doing complementary items. I would have gone ahead and found out what kind of accessory products are available for the hot product. Okay? Talk about a way to totally bypass your competition, right? Because the competition would have gone ahead and said, oh, I'm going to go ahead and private label that same exact product. In a matter of like a week, you probably would have seen 100 people selling the same product under their own logo. Granted, if it wasn't patented, which I don't know. I haven't looked up that item to know that that's the case. But what a great way to bypass that competition and elongate the amount of time that you can profit off of this trending product, by coming out with complementary items. Okay? All right, here's a hot item. What can I sell that's an accessory or complements this product? Oh, look at this. Here's a handler. It looks cool. And here's different colors to do that. I mean, this is a great way to profit big on this kind of stuff. Now, you might be saying, well, how do I come out with complementary items? One way, I'm going to tell you 2 different ways real quick here. One way, again, YouTube, Pinterest, see what people are doing with the hot item, and then see if you can help out with what they're doing. Like if they're saying, oh man, I love the cup, blah, 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 but the cup gets too hot. I wish I had something that didn't make the cup that hot. Hey, boom, idea, big money idea. Go ahead and look for something that you can complement this item with. Hey, Stop getting your hand. Now this is actually a thermal, so that wouldn't this that example is pretty bad. But this is a cool accessory item for this, right? It doesn't always have to be a product, an item that that's gonna make the product better per se. It really can just be a cool accessory item because there's so many people that are buying this product that coming up with a novelty item for this product works just as well. And this is very particular to trending items. This isn't necessarily particular to all private label items, okay? Now, that's one way to come up with a complementary item to a hot item or a hot topic. Here's another way. If there is already a hot product being produced, like the Tumbler product that we're talking about here, manufacturers, factories, particularly in China, are already coming up with ideas for complementary items, and they're already manufacturing them because they already know how to take advantage of trending products. So what you have to do then at that point is go find those complementary items that they are producing because they want you to find them and they want you to put your logo on it and start selling these products on their behalf, okay? Or not on their behalf. They want to sell to you so you can go ahead and sell into the market. So again, you could either use an agent such as I do and say, hey, look, I'm going to send you a screenshot of this product. This is a hot product. Can you go out and find out if any factories are making complementary items for that? Great. Let them do the work while you continue doing research or doing marketing or coming up with another product. Another way is if you find a private label company that's selling the main product, you can go ahead and contact them and say, hey, do you have any other offerings for this part that's related to this product? Okay. A couple different ways to do that. Here's another complementary product to the Tumbler product, spill-proof lid. You could even make this lid in multiple colors. You can make the lid in multiple materials. Again, this is more, this particular example I'm showing you is more for an experienced sellers unless you find an agent that can help you find complementary items already on the market. But there are other ways to do complementary items and be a beginner at it. So don't worry about this. I'm going to go into more examples. All right, we're still in method number 3, the complementary items. Guys, if you look up Pilar Newman Rainbow Loom 500K, this is the product that got me started on trending items. My goodness. I actually bought a rainbow loom just so I can have it as kind of a memory of this starting it off. It's just kind of one of these invaluable things for me, and I still have an original rainbow loom because they actually have come out with I think 1 or 2 other versions of this. But this is the rainbow loom that I'm talking about. Now I'm going to tell you exactly what I did to make money off of this. Once I figured out that the rainbow loom was selling super well, which is basically just a crafting kit, a plastic crafting kit. Kids were using rubber bands and a metal hook to create bracelets and whatnot. I said, great. Let me figure out what I can sell as a complementary item. Boom, Loom band refills. By the way, again, these examples are not my actual products. These are products of other people. It's been years now, or not, yeah, how many years has it been? 2 years since the last Rainbow Loom product I think I sold, or maybe even 3 years. But I did something very similar to what this guy is doing here. This guy was actually I came in right about the same time that this guy came in, where I said, the Rainbow Loom company is selling these little packets of rubber bands, 600 rubber bands for $3.99 a pop, right? And so I was like, damn, that's a lot of money for rubber bands. But because it was the Rainbow Loom company and it was particular to crafting, these products, that they can charge that kind of amount, right? Branding means you can charge a lot of money if you are a well-known brand. So what I did is I said, oh, you know what? This is super easy. Let me go ahead and find generic rubber bands. It wasn't even an epiphany. It was just kind of man, I can find rubber bands for a lot cheaper. And I can find all these different colored rubber bands. So I went ahead, again, to my agent and, hey, help me find rubber bands in different colors. And this time I actually did have him send me samples. I had him air freight me samples because when you are doing these crafting kits, what I noticed was you have to be careful with whether the elastic band is actually of good quality because you want to make sure that it doesn't stretch too much, but it stretches enough to create these kind of bracelets and that it doesn't pop. because then you'd get a lot of complaints, right? If someone just spent 30 minutes crafting this and they get to the last ring, and the ring at the beginning pops, that messes up your bracelet. So, I had him send me tons of samples. I played around with the Rainbow Loom kit and found some bands that worked really well. And I was getting these bands so cheap. And now here's the thing. I was air freighting, so I was shipping by air, by FedEx, these bands in bulk, right? I made a set such as this where I said, hey, get 6 different colors or 7 different colors, 600 bands each. Boom, get it for this price point. I was air freighting this in. A lot of people, when I originally put out the blog post, I was getting emails about like, hey, why did you air freight it in? Why? That's expensive. You're right. It is. It is. Because when you're working with a trending item, you want to be one of the first to hit the market. That's actually more important than finding the cheapest vendor. By the time you find the cheapest vendor, you take a month and a half to get it in by sea. You lost so much time. You've lost so much time. So in the meantime, air freight it in while you can still get a premium price for it. All right. So I air freighted all these heavy rubber bands in. And at that point, it was actually pretty expensive. I was spending a little over $7 for about 6,000 assorted colored bands. And I did just like this guy did. I individually had my agent wrap the bands, 6,000, a set of 6,000, I think it was. And at the height, I was selling this item for $39.95. So I was buying it for a little over $7, and that was with shipping included to have it air freighted in, selling it for $39.95. Can you see the amount of profit there? Doesn't matter to me that I didn't get it for $5 or $4.50 while it shipped in by sea. No, it didn't matter to me. I'm still making a crap load of money. That's the great thing about working on trending items. So fast forward now to 2016. That was back in 2013 that I think I found, it was at the beginning or summer of 2013 that I found out about the Rainbow Looms. I think they had already been selling for like a year and a half, but they were just getting some heat back in 2013. You could see now the price point that this guy's selling it at is at $10 for this very similar package that I was selling for $40. And this again is because now that trend, it's waned a lot. So the price point isn't as high. Okay, last thing about this particular example here. I've had 3 of my private label items hit the Amazon top 100 list in their main categories, respective main categories, organically, meaning that I've not had to, get people to, get 100 people to buy my product at a discounted price so that I can inflate the sales rank and shoot my product up. It happened organically the 3 times that I got into the Amazon top 100 in the main category, like in the toys category. And it happened each of the times that it's happened on the items that have been trending that I found out ahead of time. So it's been a really cool bunch of firsts when I've come up with trending items. It's a really, it's like sick. It's sickening sometimes how much money you can make off of this stuff. Another complimentary item that you can make. So for the Rainbow Loom example, and this is something I did as well, I came up with like watch faces, generic watch faces, but just geared towards kids. And then I'm like, hey, look, you can make watches with your Rainbow Loom crafting. And I came up with that idea because kids started coming up with Rainbow Loom channels on YouTube. I went and looked at what the kids were doing. Kids are really creative and they're my target audience. What are these kids doing? What do they want? And they were doing this. They were making like these little watches. They were adding charms to accessorize their bracelets. They were doing all sorts of stuff. They were the ones giving me the ideas. And as soon as I got the idea, okay, they want charms on their bracelets. What am I going to do? I'm not going to design you charms. I just went, in China to my agent in China. Hey, show me some kid charms. I'm gonna buy a set of kid charms, and I'm gonna call these Loom charms. And man, did those things sell like hotcakes just because I wrote that these were Loom charms. These were actually charms that you can find at any store. You can go into a Target and you can find these charms. It was insane. Here's another example of what you can do as a complimentary item to a hot trending item. Another example, and I actually did this very similar exact thing, and I'll tell you exactly how I did it because it was ridiculous. Anything related to looming, was so hot for kids. I went into the Walmart and they were selling these white transparent cases just like this. They're complementary. They had these little compartments. I couldn't even come up with that word. Say it properly. And I was buying these, these cases for $2.50. $2.50. I put a little bag of these plastic charms in that case. And I said, hey guys, oh, and by the way, and I did the same thing that this guy did. On my computer, I pretty much just kind of created a logo that said like Loom storage case. Literally created, printed it, and then put it, put the sticker on this $2.50 case. Resold it on Amazon for 20 bucks. Okay. This was an item that I was getting at Walmart for $2.50. This is just being creative. Okay. This is just me being creative. And this is something that you can do as well. All right. And then I even got another idea after that. I said, man, you know what would be even really cool? If I actually put in these compartments different color Loom bands, put a couple of charms, put Loom storage case on top of it, so sell a whole set, and I was selling those sets for like 40 to 50 bucks a pop. It was insane, all right? Now, we're almost done with this training, okay, guys? We're almost done with this training. This is a lot of information. This is actually a lot more information that I'm giving you than the cost of this training, because if you take advantage of just, if you just find one trend and just take advantage of that, even if it takes you a year, let's say it takes you a year to come up to figure out one trend that's working, right? The amount of money that you can make off of that one trend compared to the amount of money that I'm charging you for this training is just unequal. It's unparalleled. I actually thought about charging a lot more money for this training because there's so much potential if you end up getting this and doing this, that it didn't even make sense for me to offer it this low, but whatever. It's, there's so many different ways to sell on Amazon, and I want to make sure that you can make some quick money. I've made so much money off of this kind of stuff. So, rookie mistake. So we're almost done here. We actually only have, I think, 2 more slides to go. Again, guys, be really careful with this. Really, really, I really want to drill this into you. Do not sell counterfeit items from China. There were, at the time that I was selling rainbow looms, there were so many people who were selling counterfeit rainbow looms. They all ended up getting banned. You should have seen one day Amazon did this whole sweep. It was something crazy. Like you saw 1,000 people selling rainbow loom kits. And like the next morning, there were like 5 people on that listing. Amazon did this sweep because there were so many counterfeit claims. And you should never do that anyways. It's like when you go to New York and you see those people selling, these Louis Vuitton purses that are counterfeit, and they're selling them for like 50 bucks. Don't do that. That's just not even a good thing to do or to put out there in the world. You're just asking for something bad to come your way. Don't do that. Don't screw people, and don't get your account banned on Amazon as well, all right? Best practices and tips. Here we go. There's actually about 6 slides now that I look at it. Best practices and tips. Let's go over this real quick. This is not a private labeling course. This is a course on how to take trending topics and create profitable physical products, okay? So I'm not going to go through how to private label this item. Email me if you want that information. I'll put you on the wait list for when my course opens up again. My FBA Profit Factory course opens up. But one way to, if you want to do the design method, go ahead and go on something like 99designs.com. Find a designer and just get a basic design done. Super simple. Get new merchandise designed. You can go to Alibaba or AliExpress. Actually, Alibaba really here in this case. You can find China vendors, China manufacturers that can help create your product for you. And so that's a good resource to where to find products that are cheaper, right? I mean, not cheaper in material. I mean, based off of what you're trying to do here, but you can find items here that you can put your logo on and resell on Amazon. A lot of sellers do this. I never know how to pronounce this word. Pantone? I don't know. This is the system that indicates the colors that gives you an exact color that you can send to your manufacturer or your producer. I've actually made a mistake years ago on not actually giving an exact color number from the system to my manufacturer. And I said, yeah, I just want it red. And when I got the product, it came out looking more like pink. It was really my fault because I didn't give them an exact color swatch. And so avoid that by using this color system, okay? Speed is important. Again, air freight your items in. You want to make sure that you get to market faster. This is particular to trending topics. That is most important. Now, quick real story here that actually put things into perspective to me, because I get this question a lot, like, why do you air freight all these heavy items in? Or I don't air freight a lot of heavy items in, by the way. I tend to stick with smaller items, but when it's a trending item, hey, I'm just trying to get to market. Now, one of my really, really good agents that I really love and adore, you know, him and his girlfriend, I've gone to visit them in China a couple times now, and we've gone out. It's been great. I've built an awesome relationship with them. So, you know, every now and then he'll mention a few things sometimes about his other customers. And he has a particular customer that is a big customer of his. I'm talking like this guy gives him orders of $200,000, right? For like one pop, one order. And this guy sells into big box stores. I've actually looked up this guy, and I've actually looked up his products, and I've actually seen his products in stores because he does sell to a Target. He does sell to a Walgreens, and these are the stores. So I've seen the products. And my vendor said, yeah, you know, he orders from me and he air freights stuff out. And, you know, when he told me that, I'm like, dude, this is a big vendor who's selling to big box stores. But you know what? He has hot items. He comes up with really good stuff. And at the end of the day, yes, profit margins is important. Getting to market fast means you're going to be able to get a bigger chunk of a profit margin if you're getting to market faster. Then you can go ahead and go work backwards and then say, okay, well, now I have enough stock there. Now let me print something by sea. Okay, getting to market faster is important. Final words, guys. We're coming to the end of the training. This is the last slide. I'll talk a little fast. I hope you guys got a lot of what I said. Honestly, Amazon's a fun business for me. There's a lot that I've done over 9 years on Amazon. I've sold in so many different ways and in so many different niches. So honestly, like, even though it's an amazing income, it continues to be an amazing income for me. I try to find different ways to keep myself still excited about my business. And it sounds a little weird to say that, but money is great. It has been awesome for me and my family. But you also need to stay excited about your business. So I've actually been very excited to tell you and to show you how to take advantage of trending products by using this, via this training, because this is something that I've not seen being taught anywhere else, right? And it's kind of a funkier way to sell on Amazon that produces a lot of money in a very short amount of time. And I do this so much that there's just so much opportunity on Amazon that I just finally wanted to put out this training so that you're not looking at the same training over and over again that everyone else is teaching. Okay, final words. This is an add-on strategy to your main strategy of selling on Amazon, okay? Which your main strategy should be private labeling at this point. If you are still doing retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, it's like a ticking time bomb, guys. Amazon has told us and shown us in different ways that they are moving away from that. And they've been restricting categories and sellers who are reselling brand name products. They are moving in that direction. I hope that if you're listening to this training, if you're not private labeling yet, you're at least moving in that direction. If you want private labeling training, shoot me an email. And I will put you on my wait list for when my FBA Profit Factory course opens up again. It's A to Z, how to get started on Amazon. I tell you my strategies. It's a lot different. I think, at least it's a lot different than some other strategies out there. Like, some of the stuff is kind of like a little bit similar, but because I learned how to sell on Amazon on my own without taking a course, I actually use all these different strategies. So I pinpoint a lot of those things in my course. Now, again, don't get tempted into selling counterfeit items. I've seen many sellers do this on Amazon. You don't want your selling privileges taken away because if that happens, Amazon rarely gives it back to you for counterfeit claims. All right. So I want you to know what's realistic too in terms of this training. I if I hit 1 or 2 trending items per year, I'm set. That is amazing. That means I've pretty much added 50 to 100K or more. In the case of the rainbow loom, it was a lot more actually, to my bottom line on top of my main Amazon private labeling strategy. Okay. Realistically, guys, for some of you, this may happen tomorrow. You can get, or today, you can get online right now and start searching and doing all sorts of stuff. We're looking at the trending report from Pinterest that I'm going to send to you with this training. And you might come across something today. Okay. And you can, and within a matter of a month or so, you're like, oh my God, Pilar, you shoot me an email. Pilar, that training, you won't even believe it. I came across this product after your training and I'm making money on Amazon. And this is the first time I'm making money on Amazon. That is not rare to happen, FYI. But it's a unique result. That is not a result that's going to happen with everyone. So I want to be realistic here with you. It may take you a year to find that one trending item and to capitalize on that one trending item. But I want you to actually think of the training that you're doing now, right? How much you paid for this training. And even if it takes you a year to come up with that one trending item, how much this one investment has made for you, even if it's taken a year. Okay. So I want you to just have that as top of mind. Otherwise, guys, this is the end of the training. I've had a great time explaining these strategies to you. This training was geared towards people who do have more of an idea of how to do private labeling. But if you don't, it's actually just a really damn good strategy training, guys. Even if you're a new seller, come on. This is like one of the fastest way to make money on Amazon from the get-go. So I hope you've enjoyed the training. Shoot me any feedbacks, guys. If you have a success story, if you took this and like all of a sudden you're making all this money, I want to hear about it. I really want to hear about it. So shoot me an email. Otherwise, if you want to get on my FBA Profit Factory course waitlist for how to get started on Amazon and private labeling, shoot me an email as well. I am signing off, guys. I hope you have a marvelous day. I hope you stay positive in every single situation that you're in your life and in your Amazon business. And I wish all the success upon you and good health. Thank you, guys.